my name is Kudzie Mapiye and welcome back. So today we're going to be talking about moving in silence, keeping your plans to yourself while you're working on that big project, that thing that you're trying to make happen for yourself. And we're going to be answering two main questions in this video. And the first one is, should you keep your plans to yourself while you're still working on them? And number two is, can other people send you negative energy or kind of like influence your plans in a bad way when they're still in the early stages? So we're going to go first into the first question, which is, should you tell people your plans while you're still working on something? So we've all heard the term moving in silence, keeping your plans a secret, like just work in silence and just let people see the results of what you're doing. And just want to dive a little bit deep into that today and talk about why is it that people say you should move in silence. And having recently had a baby, I can tell you that I'm sure everyone knows this, that the first 3 months, the first 12 weeks of your pregnancy are supposed to be kept a secret or only supposed to be known by a very few people who are very close to you. And the reason for this is because the pregnancy is at its riskiest stage in the first 12 weeks. That means the baby might not actually survive. So in order to prevent you announcing a pregnancy and then possibly announcing that you have lost the baby, people advise that you keep the first 12 weeks secret. So this is very much similar to moving in silence. That when your plans are still in the infant stage, while you're still figuring out what exactly it is that you want to do, the safest thing that you can do is to keep your plans secret and keep them to yourself and only share them with a select few people who you know are your ride or dies, or those people who you know that you're going to need on your journey to make your plans come to life. And that is because, when your plans are still in the early stages, they are very, very fragile. They're very vulnerable because you're still trying to figure it out yourself in your head. And the last thing that you want to do is to have people give you all sorts of feedback or, speak other things that, might distract you from focusing on your plan. You want it to take full shape before anyone else can speak their own ideas into what you're working on. So the biggest thing that I think is the most important thing of why you should move in silence and keep your plans a secret is because you want to be sure before you let any other external influence in. That is the biggest thing. And because, when you're still carrying something and you haven't really seen what it's going to look like in the future, you want to give yourself time to really be with your thoughts and work it out by yourself and make sure that it is only your energy that is going into those plans and your influence, and that the thing that you're planning to do is going to truly serve you and from the most authentic part of yourself. And it also reminds me of these birds in Australia that are called magpies. If anyone lives in Australia, they can tell you what a magpie is, because they are one of those birds who are no one's favorite, because during they have this swooping season where, if you're just going for a little stroll in the park or in, down the road, they can swoop and actually swipe your eye. I have unfortunately been attacked by a magpie once, and it was absolutely terrible and very scary. And the reason they swoop and kind of attack people is because they're protecting the eggs or the young ones that are in their nest. So they see humans. Some of the magpies see humans as a threat. So the reason they swoop is to keep you away from the nest. So that is the same thing that when people moving in silence, that's the same thing that they're doing. They're kind of doing that thing that the magpie does. They're keeping their ideas, which are still in the nest of their mind, secure from any other human influence, so that they can actually give them time to mature without having been damaged by anyone else around them. So that is the whole idea of moving in silence, and why I think it is a perfectly good idea to do that, especially if you're working on something new. And second question we want to answer is, can other people negatively influence your plans, and do they actually have the power to do that? And I'll just give an example. Like, have you ever had a situation where you've shared your plans with someone? Like, maybe you're planning to go for a trip or you're planning to do something, and you share it with someone and you realize that you actually don't end up doing that thing ever since you shared with someone. But if you don't share your plans, it happens. Well, what I can say about that is, I think yes and no, people can negatively influence your plans, but on one condition. If you are not 100% sure of your plans and you don't have that confidence that you should have in your plans, that means that you're susceptible to other people's energies regarding your plans. But if you're sure, if you've got a solid foundation, if you're so positive and you believe in yourself that you can execute your plan, it doesn't matter if you share it with people. And I'll just give you an example. You might know from your childhood the story of the three pigs and the big bad wolf that came and it huffed and it puffed and it blew their houses down. But there was one pig that built its house with bricks, and the bad wolf huffed and puffed and it couldn't blow the house down because it was built with such solid material on solid ground. So that's the same thing with your plans. People can only ruin your plans or negatively influence your plans if you don't have a solid foundation, if you're not 100% sure that you can execute. That means you're a bit wishy-washy, you're not sure, like you're sharing a trip, you're like, oh, I want to go to Hawaii, I want to go wherever, I want to go on vacation somewhere, but you're not actually sure if you're going to go or if you have everything in place to go. That means if someone thinks, oh, I don't want you to go, someone is jealous, they might be able to negatively influence your plans energetically. But if you're 100% sure that, look, I've got everything planned, all the flights are booked, I'm confident that I can pull this off, I've got everything, all my ducks are in a row, then people cannot influence your plans. And if you're feeling positive about it, like you don't have any negative energy that you have towards around that thing, you're feeling so positive about yourself going on holiday or executing this big plan, it doesn't matter what other people's energies are, you will execute because you are on solid ground. Your ideas are on solid ground and your thoughts are on solid ground. So that's the idea, guys, that if you are sure of yourself, your plans will succeed. And yes, you can move in silence, but at the end of the day, that is your choice. If you do want to tell everyone around you what your plans are, if you are 100% sure and confident in yourself and your ability to execute, then you will see it to fruition. So that's it from me, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.